In each person's life, there are three incredibly important connecting factors that I call the three treasures of life. When you stand in the middle and connect with these three elements, you create the most ideal living environment for yourself. This is the nourishment that nurtures the soul, the foundation for each individual's complete development. Let's explore what these three treasures encompass and their impact on different living environments. Family is the first place where the three treasures need to be established. Ask yourself these three questions. Firstly, do parents truly play the role of wise mentors for their children? Do they embody morality and wisdom for their children? This is the first element of the three treasures: the teacher, the guide. Secondly, in your family, is there a good bookshelf for your children to read, or just iPhones and iPads? The bookshelf represents knowledge, the nurturing of intellect, and this is the second element of the three treasures. Thirdly, siblings and the neighborhood children your child plays with, the groups of friends when they run out to the street corner. What kind of people are they? If your child falls into a neighborhood with many drug addicts, sooner or later, your child is also at risk of becoming addicted. A good group of friends is the third element of the three treasures that you need to bring home. These three elements, wise mentors, a good bookshelf, and a good group of friends, are the three treasures, the three most precious treasures in each person's living environment. Now let's consider how to apply the three treasures to the business environment. When you enter a company, the first thing you should observe is the leadership team, especially the founder, the soul of the entire enterprise. Observe carefully whether they possess morality and wisdom. Because if the boss doesn't act like a boss, then the subordinates won't act like subordinates. This is the wise mentor element in the business environment. Next, look at the bookshelf of the business. The knowledge they regularly train their employees with. Is it quintessential knowledge or just cunning tricks to deceive? The essence of the bookshelf is the knowledge that employees are trained in weekly. Finally, observe the relationships between colleagues, the way departments interact with each other. This is the good group of friends element in the company environment. Just by observing for 1 to 2 weeks, you can draw conclusions about a business and decide whether to commit to them or not. Don't wait until the 2-month probation period to make a decision. The three treasures are the measure of a company's value. When choosing a school for your children, instead of just focusing on the facilities, we should pay particular attention to the following three important factors. First, observe the teaching staff, especially the homeroom teacher. Are they truly worthy of being educators? Do they have morality and wisdom? In reality, finding teachers with high wisdom is quite difficult nowadays, but finding those with morality is still possible. We should be understanding of this reality because the entrance benchmark for pedagogical universities is currently only around 3.5 points to pass, coupled with a salary of only about 5 million Vietnamese dong. With such conditions, it's hard to demand perfection. However, to a relative extent, we can still find teachers with good morality and average wisdom. Besides the teaching staff, we also need to pay attention to the school's leadership, especially the principal and the school owner. The school owner is even more important than the principal because they are the one who decides to hire the principal. The second factor to observe is the peer environment. Monitor how students in the school interact and behave with each other. After a month or two, do you notice your child showing signs of better development? The important thing is to see progress, even if it is small. Note that we should not compare our children with students from other schools. Instead, focus on the development of your own child and their surrounding group of friends. If you see them tending to behave better over time, that is a positive sign. The third factor, and perhaps the most important, is the school's bookshelf, including the library and curriculum. Among these, the library is even more important than the curriculum because the curriculum is something they are required to learn, while the library is a place that encourages the voluntary seeking and exploration of knowledge. Consider whether the school library is rich, whether there are many good books, and more importantly, whether there is a reading culture in that school. You can observe further. Are there many reading corners in the hallways? Is the library open or closed? A closed library is one that dismisses students at dismissal time, while an open library is one where the manager is always ready to welcome them at any time. If a school, even a rural school, meets the above 3 criteria, you can completely rest assured in sending your child there. Conversely, even an international school that does not meet these standards, you should also consider moving your child elsewhere. All of these living environment factors are the foundation for us to connect and communicate. They are like food that nourishes the soul. If we compare, the bookshelf is the place that provides spiritual food, while the refrigerator is just the place that provides food for the body. Ask yourself, at your home, which is bigger, the bookshelf or the refrigerator? Which one is used more often? If the refrigerator is used more, perhaps you are over-caring for the physical body and neglecting the spiritual part. Similarly, when considering schools for your children, instead of just worrying about what my child's meals are like, pay attention to the library, the quality of teachers, and the peer environment. If you only focus on the refrigerator and ignore the bookshelf, that is not a good reaction for the comprehensive development of children. Finally, let's revisit the connection with the 3 treasures, as we saw in the mentioned video. When healthy connections are lacking, addiction and bad habits will emerge. Similarly, if we lose any important element of the 3 factors above, our connections will become distorted, leading to many negative issues. Therefore, let's together re-examine these values in our families to create the best educational environment for our children. Consider a real-life example that many people have heard about: the story of the coffee tycoon couple arguing in the media. The husband wants to study with a master for 49 days, seek wisdom in the forest, even invite the master home to teach properly. But would the wife support it or oppose it? This is a sign of a divergence in values. Similarly, the book that the husband admires, like Startup Nation, may not be of interest to the wife, because she might just think, "A business making money is great, don't think about the nation anymore." The group of friends that the husband admires may also be looked down upon by the wife, considering them crazy friends. Thus, this couple has diverged in all 3 elements of the 3 treasures. When they are completely out of sync like this, it is very difficult to mend the relationship. In fact, this misalignment is not due to a 49-day meditation course, but may have started 5 years or even 15 years before that, without them realizing it. Big dreams are sometimes seen as fanciful, but remember that among thousands of dreamers, there will be a few who succeed. And if you don't dare to dream, we will never achieve anything great. Imagine stepping into a luxurious villa worth tens of billions with 2 or 3 cars, but no bookshelf, only a large liquor cabinet placed in the living room. Parents go to work from morning to night, leaving behind 2 maids and 2 children. They only throw money at their children and hire tutors to teach at home instead of encouraging their children to study independently. In such an environment, are parents worthy of being their children's teachers? There is no good bookshelf, only TVs, iPhones, and iPads. Instead of encouraging children to study independently, they hire people to do it for them. And will wealthy children, spoiled by their parents, choose good friends? Or will they play with snobbish children like themselves? That family has lost all 3 elements of the 3 treasures: wise mentors, a good bookshelf, a good group of friends. Despite having hundreds of billions in hand, raising children to be good becomes a strange thing, because when the three treasures are missing, children are almost certain to be spoiled. If you go to a school where students regularly curse, bully, experience school violence, even hit teachers, it can be asserted that their teachers are not worthy of being students' teachers. A true teacher will be respected by students to the point that they would never dare to hit them. Just one word from the teacher and they will listen. Even the most troubled, mischievous students, when a true teacher talks to them, they will listen and can become the most active students in activities. Recently there was an incident. A homeroom teacher made students do 80 squats, after which the student went home dizzy and had to go to the hospital for examination. The family sued and the teacher was fired by the principal. But let's look at this issue in a different way. 80 squats are equivalent to climbing 80 steps, only about 4 floors. If a child faints after climbing 4 floors, perhaps the problem lies in the child's health and the family's upbringing, not entirely the teacher's fault. However, the principal was afraid of public opinion and fired the teacher. This action may lead to the consequence that all teachers in the school will no longer dare to discipline students. They will only teach the knowledge in the curriculum, not dare to share good knowledge from life, for fear of being fired by the principal. Thus, the entire school will lose the three treasures. Teachers no longer dare to be teachers, good knowledge is not taught, and spoiled students are not disciplined. In this case, parents also play an important role. Although teachers can hardly correct parents, parents can influence other parents. The whole class can meet, analyze the problem, and talk to parents who have negative opinions. If you don't like this environment, you can move your child to another school, but don't let it affect this school. We agree that the teacher punishes the child, because if the child is bad, they must be punished. When looking at the problems of spoiled students, we need to re-examine the school and the three treasures. If these elements are missing, and the principal does not understand their importance, then it is difficult to create an effective educational environment. In a business environment, when a team falls into a state of internal discord, we need to ask ourselves, does that business really have the three treasures? If you are working in a department where people are not united, is the department leader truly worthy of their position? Is the knowledge being trained weekly, monthly through bookshelves or shared reading sessions truly being absorbed equally by everyone? When everyone learns together, thoughts can be aligned. And equally importantly, do the members of the department treat each other as good friends? Just by looking at these factors, we can easily predict the direction of the team. A business lacking the three treasures will often fall into a state of disunity, lacking unity and a common direction. This is really important. You can ask yourself, if you don't build the three treasures for yourself, can you develop? If your life lacks the three treasures, can you truly progress? Look at the example of the Buddha, an extremely intelligent and talented person, but he still constantly sought guidance from mentors. In his childhood, he was taught by the best teachers, each teaching for only a few months before he absorbed all the knowledge. His father, the king, found the best people in India to teach him. At the age of 29, when he renounced his worldly life, he sought out the two greatest teachers of that time to learn the Dharma. After not being satisfied with what he had learned, he went into the forest to practice on his own. Thus, before becoming his own teacher, he had learned from all the great masters in India. A person as intelligent as the Buddha still sought the three treasures for himself. So we should be careful when thinking that we don't need the three treasures. If you think, I don't need the three treasures, I am still good, perhaps you should reconsider this view, as it may be an unhumble thought. Building the three treasures can even be implemented in special environments such as prisons. In Vietnam, there's a very noteworthy drug rehabilitation center model called the 4-in-1 Rehab Center. This center has about 50 to 100 people. They cook together, eat together as a family, with groups of several dozen people sitting together. What is special is that the managers of this center used to be drug addicts themselves. After successfully overcoming addiction, they voluntarily use their land and houses to build the center, and they treat all trainees like family. Everyone plays together, works together, eats together, takes breaks together. This is the spirit of the three treasures. Everyone lives together as a family without distinction between managers and trainees. One trainee shared, "To date, it has been 3 years since I celebrated Tet without being entangled in drugs. Thinking back to the wonderful days over the past 3 years, I feel my spirit is truly comfortable. The family is warm. The atmosphere is harmonious and joyful." At the center there are teachers to guide, good medicine for treatment, good friends to support, work to do together, sports to play together, books to read together. Isn't this a form of rehab center with the three treasures? You can examine for yourself whether this is true. When people live harmoniously together on the foundation of the three treasures, after 3 years they can completely overcome addiction and integrate into the community easily. This is not a prison with cells locking people up, but like a dormitory, a school. Therefore, it is called Tu Vinh Ngoc, Voluntary Rehabilitation Center. People who come here are all conscious of wanting to overcome addiction, so there is no need to chain or lock them up. They eat together, live together, work together. Currently, there are about 30 to 40 centers like this across the North and South, all run by people who used to be drug addicts. After successfully overcoming addiction, they volunteer to open the next center. If you are passionate about this field, you can participate. Mr. Tu Vinh Ngoc, currently over 50 years old, is looking for a successor. But remember that doing this work requires heart, love for the profession, and not being afraid of people who are in a state of addiction. You must cherish them like your own family to be able to do it. With a system that has developed into many centers, you also need to have managerial thinking to be able to succeed in. These people work primarily for the community.